All right, here we are with our review, our 5B review on inequalities. Don't forget that your test is Friday, aka tomorrow, 11/11. Oh, you can't even see what I'm writing. There you go. Okay, so first off, we are going to graph this inequality. Before you graph anything, you always need to know what your M, aka your slope, and your B are. Luckily, this is already in slope-intercept form. Don't forget, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So my slope is in front of x, -3/4, and my y-intercept is 1. I'm then going to look at my sign. I have a greater than sign. So there is no line under it, so it's going to be dashed. And since it's greater than, that makes sense to shade above. So I'm going to do my y-intercept of 1, and I'm not going to pick up my pen. And then from here, I'm going to move -3, 4. Since it's -3, we're going to go down 3. And then you always go to the right, so over 4. And then down 3, and then over 4. And we're going to go up here and do the same thing, but we're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 4. And then up 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 4. Remember, with these graphs, you want to go all the way. We're going to have a dashed line with arrows. Here we go. And then we are going to shade above. So I'm going to go to my y-intercept and go up. So this is my shaded region right here. Check it. Is my slope negative? Yes. Is my slope on here negative? Yes. All right, number 2. This is not in slope-intercept form, so I need to move this 5x to the right side. So I now have y is less than or equal to a positive 5x minus 1. My slope is in front of the x, so it's going to be 5, and then don't forget to put it over 1. And then my y-intercept is that -1 right here. It is a less than or equal to. Since it has a solid line, it's going to be a solid line, and it's less than, so you're going to shade below. You have notes that tell you all this stuff. So we're going to plot our -1, but then from here, we are going to go 5 over 1. So we are going to go up 5 and over 1. And then we're going to do it one more time, up 5 over 1. And then we're going to go down 5 over 1, and then down 5 over 1 ends up being off the graph. But it is a solid line, so I'm just going to connect my points. I did not pick up my pen any, right? Remember, this is dashed because there's spaces, and our solid is a legit solid. And then we are going to shade below. So I'm going to go to my y-intercept and do a down arrow. So that means everything this side of the line is what gets shaded. Okay, moving on. We have a y is less than -2. There is no x over here. So that means this is going to be a Hoy equation. It's less than, so we're going to shade below, and then it is going to be a dashed line because there's no line below it. So we're going to go down to -2, and we're going to do a dashed line like this. You shade below, so legit just shade below. And then this one we really have to convert, so we're going to subtract 3x on both sides. And we get -7y is less than or equal to -3x plus 14. Here is where a key player comes into place. We are dividing by a negative number. Okay, in your mind you should be like, holy cow, I divided by a negative, so my sign has to flip. So it's now going to be y is greater than or equal to -3 over -7 is going to be a positive 3 over 7. And then 14 divided by -7 is going to be -2. So this is our new equation. Okay. My slope is 3 over 7. My y-intercept is that -2. And then we have greater than or equal to. So it's going to be a solid line, and greater means to shade above. Because don't forget, we divided by negative, so our sign flips. I'm going to go to -2 for my y-intercept, and then I'm going to go up 3 over 7. Okay, back to my y-intercept, I'm going to do the opposite, down 3 and over 7. Where's the 7? There we go. Solid line, shaded above. There we go. Go to my y-intercept above, so I'm going to do an up arrow. So that tells me this is my shaded region. Don't forget, you're legit graphing these on the computer, and there is a practice in Eduphoria for you. Alrighty. Next, we are going to have to switch this one also. Convert it to slope-intercept form. So we're going to add 8x to both sides. Don't forget that x on it. Bring down our 2y is less than a positive 8x minus 4. To get y by itself, we're going to have to divide by a positive 2. Keep in mind, my sign does not switch. Did I divide by a negative number? Is this 2 negative? No. So my sign stays the same. So I'm going to move it up here. It's going to be y is less than 8 over 2 is going to be 4x. Negative 4 over positive 2 is minus 2. So now this is our equation that we go off of. My slope is going to be 4 over an invisible 1, and my y-intercept is that -2. It is a less than sign, so with no line under it, so it's going to be a dashed line. And then we are going to shade below, because if you are less than, you are below. I'm going to plot my -2, and then I'm going to move with my slope, up 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, dashed line. So you got to pick up your pencil as you're making them. Or on the computer, you would literally choose dashed line. And then you're going to shade below. That does not mean below the x-axis. That means go to your y-intercept and do a down arrow. That means this whole side is below the line. There's your shaded region. All right, number 6 is a little funky because it looks like it's in point slope form, but it's got this 3 right here next to the x. So we've got to distribute our 1/2. So we're going to have 4 minus y is less than 1/2 times 3x is going to be 3 over 2x. 1/2 times -2 is going to be -1. Then we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. We get -y is less than 3 over 2x minus 5. Here's the kicker. This is a negative y. So you have to divide every single thing by -1, which means when you divide by a negative number, your sign flips. So y is now greater than -3 over 2x. -5 divided by -1 is going to be +5. Okay, so my slope is a -3 over 2, which means my line's going to go down. My y-intercept is a +5. It is just a greater than sign, so it's going to be dashed. And greater than means to shade above. So we are going to go to 5, and then we're going to go down 3 over 2. Always go to the right. Down 3 over 2. Down 3 over 2. Down 3 over 2. Okay, that seems like enough. Dashed line. And then it says to shade above. So go to your y-intercept and do an up arrow. So this is above our graph. Holy cow, that was a lot of graphing. Okay, next. Number 7, which of the following points is a solution to this inequality? So this means we're going to have to graph this and then plot our points to see which is the solution. So it needs to be in the shaded region. Okay, this one is set up a little funky though, because my x is not first. So we've got to make sure that we know our slope is -4/1, and my y-intercept is this +2. Zoom in some. There we go. So we're going to go to +2, and then we're going to go down 4/1. Down 4/1. And this is really important. Up 4/1. This one you really need to graph over the whole entire thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're good. Dashed line. And then it says to shade, it's greater than, so it was dashed. And then you shade above. I'm going to get a different color pen to mark these. We have -1, 1. We have -1, +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is on a dashed line, which means it is not 1. Neither is -1, -1. Then we have 0, 1. That also is not. Then we have 1, 0. 1, 0 barely made it, but it is there. So our answer is D. All right, number 8. Which of the following points is a solution to this inequality? Well, luckily, this one's already graphed for us. So it just needs to be in the shaded region or on this solid line. So we've got -4, 0. Well, that's not it. Then we've got -5, -2. Well, that was easy. That's our answer. It's in the shaded region. Let's check it. 8, -3. Not the shaded region. And then 0, 1 is not the shaded region either, just to be sure. Okay, number 9. Write the linear inequality represented by the graph. So we're looking at the graph and then writing our inequality. So they're both going to start with y, but we've got to figure out what our slope is, what our y-intercept is, and what our sine is. So our y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, is going to be a -3. Then we are going to do rise over run to figure out our slope. Well, first off, it's negative, and then it's going to be a 1/1, so -1. Now let's look at our sine. It is solid, our line. It is solid, so you're going to have a line underneath it, and then everything is above it, so it's going to be greater than. So our sine is greater than or equal to. My slope is -1, so x, and then my y-intercept is -3. Don't forget, this could also be written as just -x minus 3 because of that invisible 1. Now this one, let's look at our slope and our y-intercept. Well, first off, I can tell you this right now, it's a dashed line, so we do not have a line under it. And then it is shaded below, so it's going to be a less than symbol. Now let's look at our y-intercept. My y-intercept is a -1, and I rise and run, rise, run. So I rise 2 and run 1. It's positive, so my slope is just going to be 2/1, or just 2. So 2x minus 1. Okay, Susie has a budget of $160.